Welcome back to another episode of my stories. Um, Today there's one more one more episode left to complete season one of this journey. So today's topic is a very interesting one, and it's about money. And before I go into that, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lumi, and welcome to my story, sharing my journey, my devotion to God. Before I even start, I want to point this out. No, it's off. We had a spike in the Schumann resonance 2 days ago. It wasn't the biggest that I've seen, but it was there amongst the top spike. And my body was just overdrive. But what was very interesting was the perspective and the state of mind. I noticed that there is lesser worries in how these projects that I want to do, and also my well-being and the integration of aspects of myself that I'm open to God for expansion for. So there was a poem that I wrote that I would like to share with you that can give you a great idea of that story. I said, the topic is interesting. This point of view is interesting to be in. Watching the him that executed his dreams, letting patience be a lover every second through the experience. We get so deep that we forget to talk about nothing. Just here, eye to eye, reflection of truth. Words feel heavier to relay, so we lay in silence, resting from all that we thought we were to what it is now. The layers get lighter, and we breathe like a dance. We are held together in honor of it all, an exclusion of none. Then all is invited, all is alive, all is acknowledged, all is who we are, all as one. We enter into another layer, letting trust be our ally. Our hearts are staircases into new dimensions. Then we surrender once again, only to become one. I see you for who you are. So when this dropped into my heart, it was one of those moments where I was in alignment with the body, mind, and spirit. There was no resistance to what was and what was trying to be let go, or I was fighting. And this just came, and I saw the vision of all these projects that I'm dreaming to execute. And there was less pressure. And it just felt like my body was just going to turn up to different places, and different people will walk in, and they will lift the right amount of load that is designed for their soul based on God's perception. And it was a relief. It means that there's more trust in God into the process. So if you're aware, if you watched all my past videos, I'm in a different location from the my typical office. This is my branch office. And so if you guys don't know, I call it office because part of my project is to be an environmental conservation or a nature activist. And so some of these videos, I like to shoot them here besides the regulation of my system, but also calling into the process of the reminder of part of what all this journey is about, telling my story, and also part of the vision of the nature aligning with the story, and it's all going just as I wrote in the poem, that everything is just aligned. So I feel that we've drifted away a lot in the past from nature. And the only reason why I'm not going to dive much deep into it, but just a little bit, is the amount of trees that we cut down to make items that are convenient for us, money, paper, and other stuff like that. Whether when we have other materials that we can make use of. But that's a different conversation. That's when we get to the higher aspect. But this money conversation, I really want to talk about it today because um, on this journey of mine, um, there was my pastors one time when I had to make a decision between um, keeping the good life that I had, good job, everything was going, everything, family, all of that, but the call to the soul and call to God. And there's one thing that I heard that I understood. God doesn't call, or rather, I'll speak for myself. God didn't call me. I called out for God. God is always there. And whoever is willing to listen, or whoever wants to go to God, the door is always open. So the time came that I had to make a decision. Should I honor my soul or continue my 9 to 5 life, regular system way of being, societal values and all these projections, ideologies of things that I was taught growing up as a child that I'm unlearning now so that I can align back to the true aspect of my being a pure vessel of God. So the time came that I had to make a decision. Was I going to take the deal or not? No, I didn't take the deal. And what's so beautiful about it wasn't easy. It's still not easy, even though to me it's the best decision I've ever made in my life, to honor the voice of my soul and turn down the deal. And when I say turn down the deal, I'm trying to explain this process of what money is like. So I'll give you an example of someone that you may know, Dave Chappelle, right? Dave Chappelle had a project going with Comedy Central. They had a vision and they were about to sign a new contract. And the contract they were going to sign was going to restrict him in a way that he wouldn't be able to express his truth. Let's say what I'm saying about the alignment of his soul, the constriction of your words, and the need to be a follower just to make money. And he rejected that deal, and he went and he disappeared. And when he disappeared, he didn't take the deal. They came after him, and they will always come, and life will always come, and it's nothing personal. But once you have the strength to reject the deal, that strength is what will continue to surface along the path. So with what Dave Chappelle did and the darkness that he went through, and he still spoke about it in some of his specials, what he now came back as, the way he transmuted that experience, he has changed the way comedy is. Because the way he speaks, he is not being restricted by anyone. He's even doing things like smoking cigarettes, that is a very big, taboo in the United States. But that darkness that he went to, when you go there, there's a lot that is going on in that period. You wrestle with the decision if you should have taken the deal or not. What will happen if the decision you make fails? How people will perceive you, then how the people that are around you already feel when you didn't take the deal, then the perception of what they think of why you didn't take the deal when everybody is looking for such an opportunity. It's a whole lot of moving pieces in the pixel that makes this picture of affliction and grief and pain. But if one is able to continue as an artist and express his own self through his own art, whatever way that he aligned to the calling of the soul, whatever that path is, then the picture will become clear as you move on. It's going to be tough, it's going to be challenging, you know. And there are different people, different groups that have done these things in the past. And I want to bring something heavier. So we talk about things like the Holocaust and the Jews. The amount of pain and sorrow that they had to go through. One thing that I picked from their story that is admirable is they transmuted that experience and decided that they will never be in that position anymore in life. And that has led them to being one of the biggest players of finances in the world. That's how they transmuted the pain instead of going after who did that. And this is how the whole idea of money comes. It's alluring. It will look fine. It will shine and glimmer, but it will not be gold. But the true gold is that decision that I made. And even till now, like I said, you see now the vision that I'm still trying to birth is still not fully grounded and hasn't executed. But I'm fully rested that I took the right option. And life came after me, and it's still coming. But and this is one part that people don't really talk about a lot, that process. And most of the people that talk about it, they talk about it from a spiritual perspective, or I don't know. Most people that are even bold enough to share those stories, they come from it from a spiritual perspective and say they are seeking something, different ways. But there are a lot of aspects in it that compartment into what the human being experiences. There's the mental health of it, days of anguish, pain, anxiety, when there's nobody. Then there's the shame part of it where, as a man, the way the society has been built, that you're supposed to be a provider, a caretaker, then you're now in a position whereby you are caught in between worlds of the transitioning of the old you to the new you. So you are asking for help. And in that way of being vulnerable, right, it took me a while to get there. But by the time I got there, I saw some friends and people, allies, that lent me, that borrowed me, that gave me, that supported me, that pushed me, motivated me, mentored me. And through that vulnerability, which some may say as weakness, I began to see strength. I began to see love in relationship. I began to see unconditional love from people that they may not understand what my journey is, but that doesn't mean that they can't support it, even though to them it may not look like something feasible. And that's beautiful. That's just beautiful. And that's one of the gifts of this choice will bring to you and it will give. And so if you are looking to make the jump, don't be afraid. God is always there with us. He has never left us. And when you hear the voice of the soul, regardless of whatever you do, the job that you end up doing, whether is it to be of service to others or even service to yourself or humanity, it doesn't become a job anymore. it becomes a lifestyle, and then your system flows. You are making money, you are helping, you are raising the consciousness, awareness, you are elevating humanity, you are saving lives, you are taking care of animals, you are adding value to the system and the universe, and to yourself, and to your legacy, and to your ancestors. And the most important thing, you get to sleep well at night. And when the time comes for you to answer the call to go home, I'll look up and I'll look at myself and say, yeah, I did it. I did this human experience and I jumped into it. So yeah, that's what it is. So I'll keep sharing more as they come, as I'm still moving through this process myself. There are still some stories that I'm like, and there are some just flew out, like they just come easily, and like this one now. So as I'm getting more integrated and flowing more in the flow state, because a lot of people that are around me don't even understand what is going on, and I can have enough compassion for them because I can see how the old me and the new me are totally contradicting, or rather totally different, because you know the soul is a pure vessel. All of the impressions and the imprints of all what we've accumulated as a child, the identities that have become attachments, that has built up the pride, that has shaped the ego, that has made the man build the strength and the muscle to say he should be tough, and has pushed the woman out into the cold and not allow her to feel vulnerable of expressing herself and safe enough to rest. All of that just continues to drop as one begins to lean more and die to the process. Just begin to die to the process. And me coming from Nigeria, you know what I mean? You know Nigeria is like, we we believe we are the first one to reach the moon. That's our mindset. That's the way we've been. That's the way we are groomed. We are born. We are like go-getters. We are like the prime, the alpha, the wolf pack leader, all of that stuff, right? But most of the time, and not everybody, all of that thing is built under pain, false identity. And one thing that I heard that made sense, that I could see as an aspect of my own journey, is Carl Jung said, if you look at the true man, he has a feminine soul. And if you look at the true woman, she has a masculine soul. So imagine the contrast of those two. And then the way these things have been flipped around in the society. And we are now playing opposites. So it feels like we are going against each other. So our natural way of existing is not even aligning. So there's conflict within, and obviously there'll be conflict without. So the ideology of a man being sensitive, being in his feelings, being in the heart, being in the body rather than being in the mind, is a new concept that we are now walking into. Creating a safe space for our daughters, our sisters, wives, mothers, aunties, and even, to be honest, any female animal. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have today. I have one more episode, and I continue to. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's getting easier for me to start recording more. It's getting easier. I begin to get into the flow. And it's also fun to watch that process of who I am and who is operating. I was expressing this to some of my support team, I was like, it feels like I am a horsepower engine in a bicycle, right? It's like you can't, that's how the body and my spirit and my soul feels. And it's interesting to watch that dynamics whereby I have all these visions, I have all these actions, I have all these plans. My body is like, nope, you need to die to the process, let go of the pride, and let God let God sort it out so that more of God will come, no more of my own plan. So yeah, thank you for watching and thank you for supporting. If you like my story, please like, share, and subscribe. What else? Again, let's continue to pray for peace within, in our community, in the world. You'll be surprised how much of an impact 1 or 2 minutes of prayer can make a change in this world. Thank you for watching. All right.